Hello and welcome to Live with Chris, an interview podcast where we can learn and grow together. I am your host, Chris Oviedo, and I want to thank you for joining me today. Affording higher education is one of the biggest barriers for those looking to further their education. In fact, according to a study conducted in 2021 by Barnes& and Noble College Insights, 85% of 1,000 individuals surveyed expressed uncertainty when asked about paying for college in the fall. At HEC, we recognize that many of our students need financial support to achieve their career goals. And that's why we created the HCC Educational Foundation Scholarship Fund. And to learn more about this opportunity, I am joined today by Howard Community College's Assistant Director of Financial Aid, Renelle Bibbins, a veteran financial aid administrator with 15 years of experience at HCC, someone who truly cares about understanding our students and figuring out and helping them find the ways that they can afford their education and move forward. Renelle, it is a pleasure to be with you here today. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I love having conversations with people in our college. We're always trying to find the ways to support our students and getting creative because I think there's a lot of creativity in the work that you do. And I actually want to start our conversation today debunking some of the myths, right, around Howard County and around HEC. I talked about creativity, and creativity can be both good and bad. And when we think of Howard County specifically, we can be creative in making stories that poverty does not exist here, that everybody can afford education, that scholarships are not necessarily needed here in Howard County. So, Renelle, is financial aid really needed by your students in Howard County and Howard Community College? Do you have any data that you could share with us and maybe help us, paint that picture and illustrate the reality of our students here at HEC?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Our students certainly do have financial need here in Howard County. In fact, over 30% of our HCC students are eligible for the Pell Grant. And the Pell Grant is a federal grant that students who have exceptional financial need are able to receive. Um, in the fall of 2022, 47% of our credit students received some sort of financial aid. So, certainly, financial need is something that we do have here at Howard Community College.
And it's important to paint the full picture. It's important for people to hear this because we usually elevate the voice, and rightfully so. This is a great county. So please do not get me wrong. I
Of
really
course.
enjoy living and working in Howard County. I really, really do. So, but it is important to understand all of the realities that are happening here in our county, all of the realities that our students are facing. There's a lot of good here in Howard County. There's a lot of great things here at HCC, but there's also those stories that need to be elevated, that recognition that we need to bring, and that awareness that we need to bring, that there's also need. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? It's just simply saying
Of
we have
course.
talent who needs support, who wants to move forward. And for those who are in a position to help, HCC has a lot of great partnership opportunities for you to come and be that helping hand, be that supportive hand who can really, just bring up that talent that right now needs that little push. So, with that said, though, when we think of scholarships, we usually think of that person. There's kind of like a stigma, even, that comes with a scholarship, is because it's usually somebody in a bad situation with low income. Let's break that myth, also, right? Let's break that apart because scholarships are meant to help, are meant to inspire, are meant to help somebody propel and go to the next step, right? So, talk to us a little bit,
Right.
some of the ways in which scholarships help students succeed and who they are really for, right? Like we talked about those in need, but are all scholarships only just for those in need? Should only students in need be looking for scholarships, or who should be looking for scholarships?
No, scholarships are for all of our HTC students. So, in fact, the majority of the foundation scholarships that are available to be awarded do not take into consideration the financial need of a student. They are scholarships that are available based on just the majors that students are enrolled in, their GPA, their interests, the types of community service and things that they're involved in their community. Um, they are, the about the future plans of students as they move on and graduate and begin to work in our community. So, no, financial need is not the only component, and in fact, it is, the least of the components that are looked at for students. Students may need assistance with tuition and fees, but also just with purchasing books and supplies, which can be really expensive as well.
Absolutely. And then are there any that are, based on career, based on merit? I mean, I know that there are careers out there, I know, in the health and STEM where we are trying to bring back students into those fields. Do we have opportunities that are looking more at that, right? Like, what are your career goals? And, not or your GPA, or talk to us about other categories maybe that students should consider and say, hey, maybe I don't have to pay by myself for college. Maybe somebody is willing to invest in me because they believe in this field, or they believe in somebody with good grades, or talk to us a little bit more about, let's widen that spectrum, because I think it's important for people to hear this, that if you want to go to college and you're a good student, or you're interested in a field, and you just maybe are not sure or not really certain on how you're going to be able to afford it, we might have the solution already set for you.
Yes, so there are scholarship opportunities available for students in all majors at HTC. You speak of the health sciences, which, yes, we have many students who apply for scholarship opportunities, especially in our nursing program, physical therapy, our medical sonography programs. All of those have scholarship opportunities that are associated. But in addition, other majors as well. So there are scholarships for English students. We have a plethora of scholarships available for students that are taking STEM related majors, so science, technology, engineering, and math. And then we also have scholarships for social sciences like teachers and criminal justice students. So there are scholarship opportunities available for everyone here at HCC.
Everyone here at HEC can look for an opportunity to apply for a scholarship. And when we say everyone, I think it's important to also think about immigrant students and those students who are still not fully set with a immigration status, right? Let's talk to those
Yes.
students for a moment, Renelle, if you don't mind, and let's tell them if there are opportunities, and what the opportunities are out there, because I know for a fact that in my community, I am Latina, that many times we shut ourselves down, and scholarships, the whole concept of scholarships is not something that's readily available in our country. So I think it's important to open this door and let our students hear what we have here at HEC, and that they should definitely come and have a conversation with us.
Absolutely. So I think a lot of time that idea that immigrant students can't receive scholarships could be associated with the fact that in order to complete what's called the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, which is the federal application, students do have to have either be a U.S. citizen or an eligible non-citizen. But for the foundation scholarship opportunities at HCC, that is not the case. Students only need to be enrolled in credit courses. They have to be meeting what's called financial aid satisfactory academic progress, which looks at the academic progression of students. They have to have a high school diploma, GED, or the equivalent internationally. So it does not have to be earned here in the United States. And then they also need to declare an eligible financial aid major. So that really opens it up to all credit students here at HCC. And we strongly encourage all students to apply. So even if you are someone who is undocumented, there are scholarship opportunities available for students as well.
Mhm. I know we've talked about this briefly, right? And we've said that the scholarships that we have here at the Educational Foundation are for everyone. Let's get a little more specific. Let's talk a little bit more about um, the eligibility requirements for the scholarships. Can you tell us a little more? And it sounds like it sounds like there's a plethora of opportunities here. So, in broad terms, maybe, or I don't know how specific we can get with this question, because I think that with all of the opportunities that we have available, it just really sounds like everybody has to call you. So, I'm hoping you get real busy on the email and on the phone.
So I did talk about this just a little bit, but the number one thing that everyone must do is apply. So I'm very excited that the scholarship application for the upcoming 2023-2024 school year will open to students on April the 1st. And in order for students to apply, again, they just need to be a credit student. So if you are planning to enroll in credit courses this upcoming fall of 2023, then this application is for you. Students do need to be meeting what's called, again, financial aid satisfactory academic progress status. So that really is going to be for our continuing students. If you're a brand new student, you're considered you are already meeting it because you are a brand new student. And then students need to have, again, a high school diploma, GED, or the international equivalent. And then they have to have a major declared that is financial aid eligible. So the requirements are really, really limited, but the most important thing that students can do is apply online. The application is a series of questions. Some are yes, no, some are multiple choice, and there are a limited number of short answers as well. And the questions are designed to match students to eligible opportunities based on their responses. And so by students completing that application, they're applying to many, many opportunities that are available through foundation scholarships.
I know, Renelle, thinking back to when I was in school, I would find all of these grant opportunities, and then I would read through it, and then I found the part that said, and you have to write a 3-page, 5-page, 1-page, however many pages it was, essay. And I was like, ugh, like I would cringe immediately. We got, oh, I have to write an essay now for this
Yeah.
specific, right? And they were very specific on what they wanted. It was like I couldn't just write one and then kind of like attach it to all of them, which is what I was hoping would be. Um, Will our students have to write an essay? Or I know you said something about questions, right? Like that you have to add a little bit more there. Let's talk about that a little bit, because I think, at least for my experience, right, when I was applying for scholarships and when I was trying to pay for my education, that's something that I really dreaded. So, can you help us hopefully trump that idea, put that to the side, and really convince us, right, to go and apply, because that's the biggest message I'm hearing in our conversation today. You're looking for ways to afford the your education, come to HEC and apply for our scholarships. So help us kind of like get
Yes.
rid of this barrier of having to write a big essay in order to apply for the scholarships here.
So there are no big essays. There are a series of short answer questions, though, and we truly are looking for short answers. In fact, we have limited the number of words that students are able to respond with because we don't want big, long essays. We hope to have thousands and thousands of students applying. And so having multiple, dissertations is not helpful on the reviewing end either. The purpose is really just so that we can confirm that the criteria is met. So, for example, if a question says, tell us about your community and service involvement, if once a month volunteer by, helping to clean up trash in your neighborhood, 2 sentences is enough, to share that information. You don't need to go on and on to elaborate about it. We just want to make sure that you are meeting the criteria and are eligible for the funds.
I think that's fresh a breath of fresh air for our students to hear that it's easy, it's simple. We want you to apply. We encourage you to apply. So do not be I guess do not be discouraged by thinking I'm going to have to do all of
Yeah.
this work. It's really just presenting your story in a way that, Renelle and her team can read, can go through, understand and see, okay, you're eligible for this opportunities over here. We're going to match you with that and then we're going to offer you what we have available based on that. So, do not disqualify yourself and
Yes.
by
Please
thinking that
don't.
you're going to have to do all of this. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's Renelle, let's talk about more about that. Do not disqualify yourself. That's what I said. So let's talk about
Yeah.
that. What's your experience with that? With ourselves saying probably don't qualify, so I'm just not going to apply.
So I have been working in financial aid for about 15 years at HTC specifically. And almost every day I meet with a student or encounter a student who says something along the lines of, I know I won't be eligible, so I'm not going to apply. And it's just so disheartening to hear that because I know it's not the case. I think what is meant by that is that students believe they won't be eligible for some of the federal grant funds. And that may or may not be the case. But if you don't apply, there are lots of other sources. And so with this scholarship application, we are talking specifically about foundation scholarships. So these are funds that have been raised by the Howard Community College Educational Foundation specifically for the purpose of assisting students by giving out scholarship dollars to those students. So I would tell anyone, don't count yourself out. It doesn't matter what major you're taking. It doesn't matter how much money your family earns. Apply, 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 and apply early. I haven't mentioned this yet, but the application does have a priority deadline of May 1st. So it opens on April the 1st, and the priority deadline is May 1st. And really, that priority deadline is because we're going to begin to make scholarship awards to students in early May. And so the most amount of funding is available in that first round, of course, of scholarship awards. So the earlier that students can apply, the better. And we awarded last year to our students and foundation funds it was $1.76 million. So there are a plethora of funds that are available, and we strongly, strongly encourage all of our credit students to apply as soon as possible.
That's fantastic. So we have money here at HTC. And what I just heard you say is we have people working at our foundation who already have a knowledge of, right, the different situations and stories our students have. And then when they're going out looking for those partners in our community, that's what they have in mind, right? So do not
Exactly.
disqualify yourself thinking I don't apply for FAFSA, I do not qualify for FAFSA for whatever reason it may be. Rather, think about you have partners here at HEC, at the Educational Foundation, who are going out and looking for those opportunities, opening up and saying, hey, we have students who don't qualify for FAFSA but I have these needs, right? These are the stories. Are you willing to support them? So this money has been really going out and being searched for and collected for, thinking of you. This scholarships are designed for our students with our students in mind. So yes, do not disqualify yourself. Apply, apply, apply. I'm gonna ask
Yes.
your Nell to say the dates again. The application date, the priority date, where we can find the link to apply because the dates are coming up today. We're recording this on March 20th, and
Yeah.
it's coming soon. So let's repeat that again because that's important.
Yes. So the application opens on April 1st. It can be found online on our website, www.howardcc.com academicworks.com. The application is set up so that students will need to log in using their Howard Community College email address, and there are instructions online about how to get in. If you have questions or you're not able to get logged in, students can always reach out to us at the financial aid office. We can be reached at finaid@howardcc.edu. That's FINAID at howardcc.edu. And we encourage students to apply by the priority deadline of May 1st. However, students can continue to apply throughout the academic year.
So let's clarify that, because we said the bulk of the funds are available, in those priority dates, but we just opened the door and said apply at any time. What happens when somebody applies later in the year? And why should they still apply later in the year, even if they miss that deadline?
Good point. So, yes, the bulk of the funds are available because we're going to do the first round, and that's when we'll typically give out the majority of the funds that are available. However, our awesome, awesome partners at the Educational Foundation continue to raise money throughout the academic year. So, as those funds are raised, they get added to the pot, and we're able to continue to make those awards to students who are applying later throughout the year. The other thing is that sometimes when students are awarded early in May, for whatever reason, they decide, maybe they're going to transfer, or for some reason they have to take a semester off. And so those funds become available and they'll get re-awarded to other students who are planning to come to HCC.
So there's opportunities for you to apply. The month of April is really when you want to submit to be considered to have that first priority. But if you didn't hear this podcast on time, if you didn't watch this show on time, or you're watching it sometime in May and you're thinking, oh, I already missed it, send your application anyway. Go ahead and
Yes,
apply.
please.
Go ahead. If you know of somebody who's at HCC, if you have friends, maybe you're a student and you have friends who are coming to HCC, or they want to further their career and haven't registered yet, tell them to come and apply. Tell them to come and send this application in. Funds are added throughout the year. We have advocates who are working year round for our students, looking for ways to support our students, to pay for college so they can finish and they can complete their educational goals and their professional goals.
Yes.
Brunel, this has been a wonderful conversation. We're really reaching the end of our time. Is there anything else that we haven't mentioned that you think it's really important for our students and everybody that's watching and listening to the show today to know?
Yeah, I would just say to students to check your HCC email regularly. We in financial aid, we primarily communicate with students through their email address. So if there's anything that we need from you, then that's how we're going to notify you. Also, utilize your student self-service portal. There is a portal specifically for financial aid. Please click and explore it. You can find out if we have requested any documents from you, what your status is, if you've been awarded any financial aid, that specific amount, and how it breaks down to your account specifically. So when you register for classes, it will let you know, okay, here's how much you owe. Here is how much you've been awarded in financial aid, and here is what your balance is, or your credit, for example. So I would definitely encourage students to utilize the technology here at HCC. Check your HCC email regularly and log into self-service to review your account.
April 1st is that date that you want to keep in mind when you can go ahead and
Yes,
start submitting your applications. That's when the application process opens. Go ahead and look into it now, I would say, right? Like, go
please.
ahead and start getting comfortable and familiar with the information, with the website. Prepare so that April 1st hits, you're ready to send your application, submit that, and be considered for scholarships. Let's repeat again, Renelle, the website, the email. So if you have questions, right, if you're listening and you're like, I would really like to just, I still don't believe that I qualify, because I know that we tend to do that, right? I'm like, no, I know you guys are saying everybody, but I know you don't really mean it. I know you don't really mean everybody. So if you still have that question, if you're still thinking, I probably don't qualify, where can they go? Look for the information, ask questions so that they know that, yes, we mean you, you who are watching, you who are listening, we mean you. We want you to go ahead and ask your questions, get ready for April 1st so you can submit your application. So let's tell everybody again, Renelle, one more time. Where can they get in touch with you guys? Where can they find the information, how to best prepare for April 1st?
Yes. So the application is available online, www.howardcc.academicworks.com. That is where the application is online. If you have any questions, please reach out to us in the financial aid office. We can be emailed at finaid@howardcc.edu. You can also give us a call at 443-518-1260.
So, plenty ways that you can get your information and get ready for April 1st. Submit, apply, 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 apply is what I heard
Apply,
today.
apply,
That's the message. Yes,
and
that's
tell
the
all of your
message.
friends.
Absolutely. Don't keep it to yourself.
Don't keep it to
One
yourself.
point, you said 1.6 million awarded.
1.76 million awarded last year.
Right. So you can get a good chunk of that, and there's plenty for all of your friends to get some as well. So come and apply, apply, apply. Let's make it a party. That's a movement that I'm gonna start. Is we're gonna do a party for application day so that we all come together, we all sit at the quad, have some music, and have our applications, our computers there, and apply all together. So why not? Let's make
I
it
love
into a
it.
thing, right? Application
Yes, let's
day.
do it.
Renelle, thank you so much for creating opportunities for your students, for, this partnership that you and the Educational Foundation have of going and advocating for its students, of going and getting those supportive hearts and people and partners in our community with our students in mind, for creating these pathways to success so that our students can come to HGC and, like we say, get there from here. I really appreciate you, and I thank you for giving me some time today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me and for spreading this word to our students.
Absolutely. And thank you, everybody, for listening, for watching, for sharing this with 100 or 1,000 of your best friends who are coming to HCC. We are here for you. We want you to succeed. And that's what this Educational Foundation program is all about. That's what it is. The scholarships are here for you. They're with you in mind. Apply, 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 apply. April 1st is coming up real soon. You want to get in as quickly as possible, be the first in line, and get that money so you can finalize your educational goals. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I am Cris Oviedo.